I'm good.
This is nice. This is nice. Any other person there that wants to shout out to the group? Are we there? Can unmute your mic and say something? Anybody there? God knows. Indiana Basi, how you
For
doing?
the whole house.
Good
Fine,
morning,
fine.
sir. Amesiere.
Fine, fine.
You're welcome. All right. I greet you. Mr. Femi, are you saying something to us? I saw
Yes,
your
I said
mic
shout out
unmuted.
to the whole house.
Full house, Abi.
Yeah, full house.
Yes, so
Good
good
morning.
morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. That's Mr. Victor. I see you. Good morning,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
How you doing?
Yeah. Thank God. Thank God.
Oh, that's great. That's great. That's great. It's good to hear from each and every one of us today. Today is Friday, and on Friday we like to unwind a bit. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me plug in my mouse. My mouse just I'm sorry. Give me a moment. Give me a moment. My mouse just went low. Let me plug it in. All right. This is our live session. We'll start playing music so that we can liven up small. All right. So I was saying today is Friday. We like to unwind and just review one or two things, see how the market was, and we just ask a few questions. So I hope we took some trades. I think this week let me see from the live calls we had so far. I think we had a call on Eurocard that did well. Flip X2 did well. NZD did well. On Monday, I know we had a trade on FX40 that took a loss. Okay, those were the three calls, the ones that I actually called out for us. So FX40 took a loss, and we took wins on NZD on Eurocard, and Flip X2. And then there was a call on the general group. That's the general group and the funded group. That's the FX Vol 20. I don't think I updated the general group. I think I spoke on the funded group, or did I? I think I did. That yesterday we officially hit take profits on FX Vol 20. That trade really pulled back while we entered the trade. It was just ranging, going up, coming down. So at the end of the day, we thank God that the trader, took us safely to take profits. Okay. So if you were on the calls, if you were on the live sessions and on the group, at least you should have made money this week. You should have made money this week. Okay. Should have made money this week. And then of course there was there's I think Flip X2. Is it Flip X2 also? That was just a setup that we said that should play, and then it played out. All right. So yesterday's news affected our currency trades. Let me just quickly go. Here we are very, very transparent. Okay. The truth is that you join a lot of sessions, it will be as if they never used to take loss. They never used to take loss. But here we don't operate in that frequency over here. Okay, we don't operate in that frequency over here. Anything that happens, we ensure that we share it. So our trades yesterday was supposed to be on Eurocard and GBP card, right? Let me just quickly point it out what happened. Now, if you remember, I said something that when we have news, please pay attention. When we have news, let me say news is at let me say 12. Let me change this color. I don't like it. So let's say the news is at 12 p.m. or 1:30 p.m. These are the times where in Nigeria the news falls under. All right, the Nigerian time news always falls under this time most of the time. And then we used to have I think we used to have 4 p.m. and then the last one we used to have most of the time is 7 p.m. Okay, so these are the times where the news happens, right? Most of the time in Nigerian time, GMT plus one. Now, what I always say is that if you are taking a trade, right? And then you know that that day there's going to be news for that day. You see a red folder news that day, probably something like a CPI, and then you say that to affect the USD at let's say 12:30, or let me just use 1 p.m. 1 p.m. Now, what you always do is that if I am in a trade, let me say I am trading GBP USD. If I'm trading GBP USD, all right, already before this 1 p.m., and then it's approaching news time, I'll just leave my trade open. Honestly, I'll just leave my trade open. All right, maybe okay, maybe if my trade was already, around the entry region, I can say, okay, let me close the trade. That's just the way I approach news. If I was already in the position, I'll just leave my position open. All right. But if my trade wants to trigger, let me say news is by 1 p.m. and then it's around 12, let me say 40 or 50, and then I want to go and place that trade just few minutes, 5 to 10 minutes before the news. Another that trade is not really going to move. You know why? The few minutes before the news, the market will be what? It will be, slow. Why? Because it is anticipating the impulse that will come from the news, right? The few minutes you may start seeing some, some market can just start being slow. It will just do a little bit of a dash. It will build up again to dash. So this is just build up to the news. Now, and then when the news comes, it can either fly up or it can go down. Now, what happens is that within this time frame, if I was already in the trade, I just leave my trade to run. I just leave my trade to run. But if it is few minutes to the news, right, and uh, and then the trade did not yet activate, because most of the time I used to do a pending orders most of the time. That's the way my strategy, I'm not saying if I see market order or not place. If I missed my pending order, a market is still close to my entry, then definitely I'll do a market order. Okay, so my strategy makes me to do more of pending orders, right? So if my trade, let me say I placed a buy limit here, a buy limit somewhere here at this region, and then news, and then market somewhere here, and then news is happening at 1 p.m. and the time is currently, let me say 12:54. It is just safe for me to at least delete this order for now. If it goes my way, fine. If it doesn't go my way, if it ends up going my way, fine, I leave it. If it doesn't go my way, good, I have preserved my capital. The thing is, in trading, the main thing is what is money preservation. You want to preserve your money, right? No matter what, you want to preserve your capital. Preservation is very key. Everything we do, you want to, at the end of the day, preserve your capital, because it's like a business. You don't want to be exposing your funds to excessive risk than you should. So around this time, I just delete my order and preserve my capital. But if my trade was already active, let's say I already was in a buy position from from this uh, from this region, and then trade is currently something just playing around, and then let me say time was like, let me say 10 or 11 p.m., right? Already, sorry, 11 a.m. I entered this trade already. Then anything that happens at that point, whether it wants to go up or it wants to go down, there's no problem. At least I know that I was already in the trade. So at that point, it's a matter of will the news go in my favor or not? Especially people that trade props, right? There are news that govern prop trading, right? There are news that govern prop trading. Don't enter. I think I don't know. All these rules. Don't enter it 2 to 5 minutes before news, or don't close your trade 2 to 5 minutes, before or during the news. There are just a lot of rules, right, around those guys. So what you just do is, stay away. But if you're already in a position, say an hour before, maybe 1 hour 30 before, then I leave the trade to run. And that is how the trade calls for Euro. Let me delete everything. Euro card and what's it called? And the GBP card got invalidated yesterday. So the news from yesterday was supposed to, let me just get the date, the time, sorry. Let me just get the time. Yesterday was Thursday, so the news for GBP was 12 p.m., right? While the one for USD was 1:30 p.m. All right, so let's go back to the chart now. Now, at yesterday was, let me go back to, okay. So that yesterday price was here. Price was here as at yesterday. This guy, this leg did not form. It was pointing upward. So everything was pointing towards what? Towards us buying as at that yesterday. This is the Euro news, right? This is the Euro card. You go to the 4 hours time frame, and then you see the 4 hours time frame, we had everything that we like to see in our position. We had a fully bullish engulfing candle, and we had a what? We had a, what's it called? We had a an expansion on the line chart. If I go to the line chart to show you, you'll see that we also had an expansion. So everything pointed towards buys on this trade. So you can see, and then what happened? 1 hour, we think we had fair value gap. You can see we had a very nice imbalance all the way here from this. Okay, so this was supposed to be around, I said we should enter from around this breaker block if we are going to be trading. And now, what time did this trade trigger? Let me see. This trade came in this as a this candle, as a this particular candle, that was already 12 p.m. So you know that from the next candle that's going to be forming, that's going to be the news region. Okay, that's going to be the news region. Okay, so that was how this trade crashed due to the news release. Okay, the technicals, no, of course, there are times where the news will just come and sponsor your technical analysis all the way to take profit. That is very nice. But there are other times where it will take you out. That's why they say if you're not already in a trade at this point in time, just let it go until when it's better. So you can see that the Euro news activated just few moments to that. You see, 1 o'clock. So it was just about a few minutes to the news time. And then GBP card on the other hand, that was supposed to be for 12 o'clock. The news there was supposed to be around 12 o'clock. You see that the price came into our what's it called? Our entry area around that 12 o'clock. Just look down, you see the time. If I take my mouse out, it will go, but just look down. Look down, you see, Thursday, 18 September. What's that? Thursday, 18 September, 12 o'clock. You see that time was the time where the news was going to be entering. So that was the reason why this trade, normally we should have stayed away from it, just because of the news, right? If a trade occurred maybe before the news, then that would have been fine. But it's okay. It's part of the game. We don't have any regrets. Our strategy, our analysis was great, but all right. So as I said, our technicals were aligning. This is the way we have been taking trades all through the weeks, and then we have always seen ourselves in profit. So if one trade or two hit stop loss, then there's nothing to to worry. All right, it's just part of the probabilities that come with trading. Okay, so today there isn't any much to do from my ends, honestly. So I don't know if you're looking at anything, you just feel free to drop it on the chat. I'll just show you 1 or 2 things that I'll just do more of review, more of lectures today, and then of course we'll just see how the day plays out. So let me check USD JPY. USD JPY, let me delete everything on the screen. USD JPY. This guy is looking like it wants to begin a bullish trend, all right? You see the monthly time frame. The monthly time frame, we're currently doing what? We currently swept this low. This month is sweeping this low. So I believe that we should come for this high. Okay, so monthly is giving us that's our step one. Okay, that's our step one on the monthly. And then what's the step two? The step two is for the weekly to give us expansion. Okay, so if I go to the line chart, you see that currently this week is trying to expand, but it has not yet finished expanding. Why? Because this week's candle is still forming, right? So that's this week will end tomorrow. Today. So if it closed like this, then we know that yes, we should continue bullish. Then another thing I spotted is that last week's candle was swept by this week. So we should be doing what we should also be coming here. So that is like a third confirmation that we should look to be bullish on USD/JPY either from today or from Monday. Okay, so what's the daily now saying? Let me delete everything so that you see the daily very clearly. So you see that the daily from that hour sweep is also giving us what? Also giving us that change of character to that same direction, okay? Change of character to that same direction. And then the 4 hours time frame, we are having what? We are having this area of imbalance here. Every other thing here. I wouldn't want to trade a buy from up here. Why? It's very simple. We need to buy from a cheaper price. Okay, you know that if you go to the market and something is cheaper, you want to buy that. You want to buy it as opposed to the time when it is more expensive. So it is better to buy from the more institutional areas here than to buy here. You see that the price up here is around, or here is around, let me say 147,470. But compared to down here when the price is 146,467, that's just the simple idea of buying low and selling high. Is that okay? So the Fibonacci, we're supposed to expect something to a more discounted area before we buy. That is why I like that. I like that this fair value gap aligned perfectly with this fair value gap aligned perfectly with the institutional areas, the discounted areas, the cheaper areas. So it may not happen today, maybe Monday, but just know that here is a nice place to trade from. Even though the stop loss is going to be big, it's still a very nice place to trade from. Highest we can do is that when price finds its way back to these areas, you can do what? You can go to maybe 1 hour, 30 minutes, 15 minutes, look for a change of character, and then you can trade. Is that okay? This as confirmation. It's very, very powerful. Then of course, you know that we can target this high in the long run. We can target this high up here. So that's just like a forecast, right? It's like a forecast. What am I expecting? That's what I'm expecting from USD JPY. Okay. So let me just give us something for USD CHF. Sorry, GBP CHF. That's like it's just a supply zone. The network is a little bit slow. I hope you can hear me. So remember I said that GBP CHF we have been selling all the way from here, right? Since price took this place and then came back to retest it, we should expect price to run all the way to this low. Is that okay? So that's that. So we should expect price to find its way to this place. So now what is the next bus stop? What's the next bus stop for price? Okay, I would say, of course, we have all these key levels here. This guy here, you see the way price interacted many times and has what? And has fair value gap here. It's still a very valid place that if price wants to come back here, I'll still look to sell from here. There's fair value gap, there's key level, there is touches here. So I can sell from here. But there's also this guy that's, of course, that we traded from that made profit. So the next point of interest is this guy here. The next point of interest is this guy here. Okay, so you can see that there is a sweep of liquidity here. And then we have what we have here. And then price can trade all the way back to this place before we sell. Okay, so this is just next week's trade. And then this looks like what? This looks like a liquidity buildup just around our entry. So we are forecasting. Maybe trade should trade inside here. Price should trade inside here and then fall. Okay. I hope you're hearing me clearly. Okay. I hope the network is clear. Please, if you're hearing me, just type on the chat box that yeah, I'm very audible, please. Okay, just type on the chat box that I'm very audible. Thank you very much. All right. So that's that. Let me see. So hey, let me talk about Euro USD in relation to GBP USD. Let me start with GBP USD. Can you hear me? Okay, all right. Oluti is saying I'm audible. Thank you very much. Okay, thank you very much. God knows, I appreciate. Let's start with GBP USD. I want to show us something. Let me clear my charts. Now, if you remember, we said something on the, let's go to the monthly time frame, please. The monthly time frame was showing us something, right? That we took the monthly, the previous month's low with the week, right? Just the week. This small line is the week. So after taking that month on that candle, we should expect to do what? To go here, right? Good. That's why we were very bullish on GBP USD. Now, in the same vein, we had that same idea on what? On Euro USD, right? This still monthly time frame. Can you see that Euro USD, we had a monthly low sweep here, right? And then we should do what? We should go for the monthly high. Now, what is the difference between Euro USD and GBP USD? Now, we're very bullish on the both pairs, right? But you see that Euro USD already ran to the monthly high. So Euro USD has reached is what? Has reached is TP, or you can call it as reach is draw on liquidity, is DOL. All right. Euro USD has reached its draw on liquidity, or you can say the take profit region. Whereas GBP USD, what's wrong? What's wrong now? Okay. Whereas GBP USD did not reach the draw on liquidity yet. Okay, so in abundance, we're very, very bullish. You see that at that point in time, Euro USD has all the rights to start selling. Is the truth. Euro USD at that point in time has all the right to start selling if he wants to sell. Why? Because it has gotten to his own liquidity region, so he can start doing whatever he wants to do. All right. Now, sentimentally, we believe that since we are still having this space to go on GBP USD, was as if we we um we try to neglect the fact that GBP USD has run into somewhere that is very important on the daily time frame. I was skeptical about this buy. If you remember, we have been calling for key level here. Remember, we've been calling for key level here to buy GBP USD from here, right? We were calling to buy GBP USD from this region, and all of that. But I did not buy this trade yesterday. I would have bought this trade. This is a very proper trade for me to trade. I would have bought it, but I did not buy it. Why? Because where is price coming from? Is very, very important. Okay, where is price coming from? I noticed that, this place is very strong. Why is it very strong? Number one, you see the break of structure here, the sweep. Sorry, there was a sweep here, right? And then we had the break here, and this was like what? This was like liquidity. So at that point in time, and then this whole leg is something that took all of this. It was just breaking all the lows. Is that okay? So now that what that means is that this our key level here is now in jeopardy because of where price is coming from. That's a very important question. Always ask yourself when I'm taking a trade, where is price coming from? That's the simple reason why I avoided this loss on GBP USD yesterday. And now let me show you something else on this GBP USD. Can you see this? There was a daily sweep here. There was a daily high sweep. So that's the previous day's high was swept here. So it's possible that price also wants to trade down. So we had two reasons to trade price to the downside: the daily high sweep, and then of course the most premium order block that we had, the supply zone that we had here. So 4 hours time frame gave us what? 4 hours time frame gave us a fully bearish engulfing candle formation here. So there was no way I was going to trade a buy on GBP USD yesterday. There was no way I was going to trade a buy yesterday. So if we're to trade, you can see that was the next break of structure. So I think 2 hours, is it 2 hours? I mean 3 hours that gave the you see the fair value gap was on the 3 hours time frame. So if you took from the 3 hours time frame, SL above the candles, you see that this you can even trade to that what's it called? So that our key level, and even make 2 hour plus. So you can see that GBP USD has been plummeting ever since then. Okay, this our key level was invalidated because price traded into this supply zone here. Now, if this thing just did something like this, sorry, let me go back. Let me delete all of this. If price went, let me say when price was still somewhere here, yeah, it stopped somewhere here and then started coming back down. Good. Now, this would have been a good place to buy from into the supply zone. I don't know if I'm making any sense. All right. This was Mr. Femi saying what that was the mistake I did. I was buying but did not know it hit the OB on 4 hours for okay. Yes, it's okay. It's okay. You see, that's why we have this class, so that we can, it's not every time that we say go and buy from here, go and sell from here. We also need to know what we are doing, so that even on our own we can spot these things. So price hit this supply here. So there was nowhere this buy was going to hold. If price stops somewhere here, then you can buy from here to the supply. But as it reached the supply first, I'm very sorry that this buy will not hold again. Price has to come back and sweep. In fact, this buy now has become liquidity for itself. It has to come and take everybody that is trying to buy from. He has to take all their stop losses. And that is why the momentum from GU yesterday was very strong. All right. Sentimentally, here on the live session, we're buying, right? We're buying, but I did not buy yesterday. In fact, we did not even call it buy. It was, of course, it was just the area that we said we should look to buy from. But Euro USD, which is very close to kind of network, which is very close to GBP USD, also sold. But you see that Euro USD had the license to sell because their own drawn liquidity was reached. Oh, sorry, it looks like I'm preaching. The drawn liquidity was reached on Euro USD, so it has all the license to sell. All right. So GBP USD, even though GBP USD's drawn liquidity was not yet reached, we also have to be objective to spot the fact that price was coming off somewhere on the daily time frame that is very strong. So that is the reason why this our key level here failed. Okay, so you see that, like I said, here in this lecture, we are very, very transparent. Our setup that hits take profit or that fails, we are going to make it very clear to everybody here. Okay, so that's what happened on Euro USD and GBP USD that I just had to, I just had to point out for us. Okay, so that is the reason why it failed. So we may still be a little bit bearish on GBP USD. So what will happen is we'll just go via. Personally, I'll still, go and do study and then get, a very good region to trade. Because right now I don't have any sell opportunities. And now you also see that there's also weekly sweep high. So you know that price was definitely going to come down. All right. So if you took a loss there, it's fine. It's part of the game. You can say school fees. That's what that loss is, school fees for for next time. Okay. So this is not a bad place that GU may run into. Personally, I don't want to trade again this week. I just want to observe the market. But if you see a good opportunity, then we can definitely play with it. Okay. So I want to just of course I wanted to just quickly point that out to us that is the reason why price failed. So I think we are going to be more objective to approach our trade properly, spot the reasons why our trade will be invalidated. I will say something. If you have a trade idea, don't be too fixated on that idea that you fail to spot out the fact that that trade can be invalidated. There are things that will happen that will invalidate your trade. Let me give you an example. If you have a daily low sweep like this, have a daily low sweep, and then price is currently doing something like this. It has not gotten to the TPO. It never reached TP yet, right? And then the next day comes and takes this high and starts going back to the downside like this. Don't you think that price will now want to come for here? Price will now want to come for here. Yes, price was supposed to come for this place. But if the next day comes, takes that day that did not reach the take profit, and then 4 hours gives us what? Gives us change of character. 1 hour gives us sweep and break with fair value gap. Then don't you think that this trade is going to sell all the way to this place? So you see that any buy that you had here may have been what? It may have been invalidated. Why? Because price has changed the sentiment and it's going to be trading all the way to this low. All right. Is well, oh. All right. So that's just it. That's just what happened. That's just what happened for GBP USD. Okay, so let me show us GBP Euro GBP. And then, like I said, today's session is not going to be too we're not doing too much. We're just reviewing, forecasting, correcting our errors and all of that. So you see that, see that thing I just said on GBP, USD. It happened here. Now you see that the other block is here. If Euro GBP wants to, can you imagine? It's already selling from the self. Kind God. If this trade wants to sell from here, it has all the license to sell from this place, right? Now we had a key level here. We had a key level here that I made noise about that is going to buy, and I'm not surprised it bought, and I hope you are not surprised too. Key level 1, 2, 3 touches around this area is a very strong area. Price breaks it, comes back again, touches here, it breaks it again, comes back and uses that same place as a what? As a resistance. Now, what do you think price will do when it breaks that area again? Of course, it will come back to buy from that area again. All right. And see if that was not enough. Oh, everything. Oh, let me delete everything. Now, see if that was not enough. The daily, there was now also a what? There was now also a daily low sweep here to further what? To further validate that we are going to buy. Now, that is the reason why GBP USD, Euro GBP bought. So we have been pointing out this area since Monday that price is going to buy from here. And I'm not surprised he bought from here. Now, let me tell you something. You see this leg here? You see this leg here that happened before price came down. If for whatever reason, this leg came all the way to this point before coming down, nothing will make me to buy from here again. Why? Because the trade idea is invalidated by price reaching a supply region first. Price coming to a supply region means that whatever buy from I wanted to buy from a demand area or a key level or a bullish order block, everything is invalidated. Why? Because price now has the license. By it touching the supply zone, it has the license to do what? To trade all the way to the low that it came from. I really hope I'm making sense. I really hope somebody is picking up what I'm saying. Now, within all of this region, you see buys, we can buy. Why? Because we are returning to order block here. We can buy. But when you now reach the order block, you know that price now, the licensing now has changed, right? The license now is that price can do what? Price can trade from where it's coming from, which is here. You see that this was how it happened. Price is now doing this as a retracement to this place, and then it can do what? It can continue selling. Okay? It can continue selling. Now, we know the idea of, oh, this class has turned to a full lecture session. Please stay with me. We know the idea of what's it called? Of basic market structure. Now, when price takes a high, it comes back, it will retrace before it goes up. It sweeps, it will come back again, do this. Now, you see, in the market, this thing is not always a straight line in the market. It's not always this thing I just drew. It's not a straight line in the market. The market it will be like this in the market. Price can do something like this, and then it will do something. It can play around. Do this, do this, do this. But when it reaches this area, it has touched where it has retraced to what? A discounted zone. Now, everything that's going to happen is that this high is going to be taken. Price will come back for that high. It will start to do again, dance or play. But when it touches the cheaper price, just know that it's coming for this high next. So what do you see here? Let me change my color of the pen so that you see something. Let me change to green. Now, pay attention. Now, you see that this basic market structure formation here is what is happening here too. It's just that we are seeing it in a different light now. So we're having, can I make it bigger? Can I make it bigger so that it will be, can I make it bigger? I cannot make it bigger. Type. Let me use TradingViews tools because I was using Zoom's tools. Okay. Let me make it bigger. Make it 3. And let me change this to green. All right. Now, can you see that? Sorry. Can you see that what we are doing here is we are still obeying this basic market structure formation in a different way. In the sense that the market is now doing this, this. When it comes here again, it's going to go up. Now, let me show you something. Let me delete Zoom stuff. Now, can you see that at the end of the day, what are we doing? We are still taking higher highs, forming lower highs here, taking the next high, retracing, taking the next high, retrace, and then we'll take the next high. At the end of the day, we are still doing basic market structure. It's just that market is doing what? It's doing sweeping liquidity, grabbing imbalances, filling gaps, everything. But when it comes to the cheaper price, it's going to do this again at the end of the day. That's simply what happens in this market. That is simply what happens in the market. So now, you see that after we had this, after we had something like this, tap, and tap, so you see that market has changed character here. Is it not? Good. So now all of this is just retracement. The moment price reach where it wants to reach, it is this low. It is this low that it is going to come for. And then it will continue. Then it can start playing around again. And then at the end of the day, now this low, it will still come sweep for it to start doing again and all of that. All right. So I just hope that we have gotten a fair bit of clarity with as to why price moves the way it moves. Okay. Thank you very much. Let me delete. How do I delete these things now? Huh? How do I delete all these things? Okay, so that is what happened on GBP USD, and it's currently happening on Euro GBP. The buy on this Euro GBP was still valid because price has not yet reached the place it wants to sell from. The moment it reach the place it wants to sell from, all this buy like this, all this buy where they here, it could come carry all of them. All right. So let's just be more, vigilant on the charts. Okay. So do I have any other thing for Euro? Oh, I'm seeing your charts. Thank you very much, everyone. I appreciate your feedback. AUD card. I think there was something that I wanted to just show us. I said today we'll just do more of teaching. Today is Friday. We don't want to get caught up. The only thing I have for us is that USD JPY. I wanted to show us. Okay, AUD card is giving us that same kind of behavior, that same bit of behavior. Can you see? What are you seeing in the long run? This is why we start analysis from higher time frame. All right. Can you see that after this after all of this move, price has come to a cheaper area? Where do you think price wants to go? After taking here, price now has the licensing to drop. It has the licensing to drop. It can drop from there. That is why this price has started selling from that place. Is that okay? That's why price started selling from there. If somehow price decides to disregard it and go up, there's no problem. Know that when there's a pullback, we're going to continue what? We're going to continue in that same direction. Okay. So now you see that this low here was taken. So price can trade all the way to this place and then start falling. So on the daily time frame, network. On the daily time frame, we have this area that price can possibly sell from. And of course, that is why this AUD card is selling, that was selling the whole of yesterday, is simply because price has traded into what? Let me make it better. Price has traded into what? Into a premium price. My network is slow, but I believe you are still with me. Kai. Oh, I don't have time again because I have to round up for the 10 o'clock session. Okay. I have to round up for the 10 o'clock session. Okay, so that is basically it. I hope I was going to have some time for synthetic indices, but that is basically what happened. So somebody is asking for Eurocard. Let me just touch that quickly before I go. What do we have for Eurocard? A Eurocard was our trade now. I've already done Eurocard. I've already done Eurocard. So Eurocard, we are still very bullish. This is the weekly time frame. We are still very bullish. And then the daily is doing a little bit of retracement. So now for Eurocard, I have what? I have some area of interest down here. There's a lot of imbalance there. So if price comes here to fill, I can look to do what? I can look to trade all the way back up here. That is my next point of interest for Eurocard. Okay, so that's that for me. So just look out. Who is the person that asked for Eurocard? Let me check. That's Obadiah. All right. Just look for price to trade into this area, and then if you start seeing a change of character, Eurocard is going to buy from here. If that one fails, the next place is down here. Okay, so just wait for confirmations around these areas, and then you can trade. Okay, so that's that for currencies. I hope I hope I have been able to, explain why certain things happened in the market. I wanted to show us one thing on synthetics. I don't know if I can find it. Give me a moment. Okay, so our FX20 ran to take profits yesterday. Our FX20, I told us that at the end of the day, let me show us something here. I thought at the end of the day, that our buy is going to go up. It was not a prophecy. It's just what's going to happen because there is a place up there that price wants to run to. There is somewhere that price wants to go to. It's the same thing I'm just explaining now, right? After all of this move, price has to go to a cheaper place before it continues downwards. Is that okay? So any buy that you're having here is a nice buy so that when it gets here, you stop buying and then you start selling. Okay, so that is the reason why we hit take profit yesterday on FX20. Even though the trade really consolidated. All of this was consolidating our trade. I can imagine how stressful that would have been. So that is how it happened. So I think I'll just show us FX60. FX60, if you remember, we have a sell here that we want to sell. This is an example where that area that you want to trade from become invalidated. You have to obey the market, or even the market will mess you up. This is a supply zone. We want to sell from here. In fact, we started selling from here, but we got taken out at take profit. So I said, okay, at a break even. Okay, so I said, all right, now let us wait for price to do what? For price to break this guy first before we know that, yes, we now have a place to target. But there was a demand zone here that I said, wait, don't trade sell yet. Let this demand zone, let price clear this demand zone first before you sell. So you see that the demand zone now is holding. That's why it's good to be very objective. When you see something, respect it and let it give you what you actually wanted to see before you engage. So you see that if we took a sell on euro on FX60 now, we would have been in loss. Is that okay? But it's good that we spotted out this place that price can retrace to. You see that since we're buying. When price gets a cheaper price, where is it going to go for next? It's going to go for the high. That's exactly what it did. Okay. So that's that from me. Let me give room for the 10 o'clock session. So I greet you. We'll do BTC next week, please. We'll do BTC next week. All right. Let's just call it a day here. I greet everybody once again. I wish us a very wonderful weekend. Just take some moments, rest, recoup, and then come back next week. I know some of us will still want to look at the market for synthetics throughout the weekend. That is okay. That is okay. But for currency, let's let currencies rest. And then, from Saturday, Sunday, you can start doing your back testing sessions and, get prepared for next week. I will be doing the same thing. It's expected that you do same. So once again, I greet you. Have a lovely day and have a lovely week. Goodbye.
And you too. Thank you for your simplicity.
All right.